Hey guys, welcome back to Beauty School Bobbi, brought to you by L'Oreal Access and Lead. We are so excited to be here with one of my graduates. This actually happened very last minute. Amanda Lamoure is in town from LA, and we are so excited to have you here.
Yay.
I was hoping that we were going to connect like on a hangout, but I was like, let's just record our episode. We had planned a trip to come to Los Angeles right before COVID happened.
Yes.
And then we had to cancel that. So getting you in Knoxville is actually like, I kind of love it. I kind of love that we're getting this, and then next time we come out, we'll get you there for sure. But welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So I want to let the audience know, we're going to kind of rewind a little bit. So how you and I met. So I was trying to do the math, but I'm like super bad at math. So we met in 2013.
Yeah, 2012 is when I like first started coming in. So almost 10 years ago. It's wild.
So crazy. So I remember, it's so weird because I remember you coming in like with your mom, right?
Yep.
Like on the tour.
Yep.
And meeting with you then. And I was new at the school. So I was still like figuring out kind of what I was doing, but we connected like immediately. So you were kind of at a place in your life where you were making a big change. So talk about like kind of where you were at that moment.
Yes, totally. So when I entered, I was 18, like going on 19. I was living like on the University of Tennessee campus, but I was an athlete. I've been an athlete my whole life. And that's really the only place that I ever felt like I kind of belonged. I had went to Hiwassee College in Madisonville, Tennessee. I was driving from UT every day, living on the University of Tennessee campus, commuting to Hiwassee.
Wait, so why were you living at UT? Like
I was dating a guy at the time.
Yeah.
I went to UT, so I wanted that lifestyle. I had a lot of friends that went to UT, and honestly, I wanted to go to University of Tennessee as well. So that was, I had always grown up around that, but I wanted to play basketball so bad.
So Hiwassee's where you got your scholarship, right? Or that's where you were going to play basketball at.
So I got a basketball scholarship I had several offers, but ended up going to Hiwassee just because like I wanted like a little small town feel. I visited some places in California as well.
So California was like an option even back then.
Totally, yeah. Okay. I always knew that I wanted to go that more West Coast route, but I love my parents. I'm an only child. I love them so much. So it was very hard for me. That was honestly their opinion was very heavy on my decisions that I made. And I was always thinking about that because like all my family is here. I want to be here, and I want some type of roots here. I want some type of connection to this area. Just because even though now I'm in LA and, working there and I'm traveling all around, like honestly, a lot of things, they always come back to this area too. And I feel like I'm always just referencing Tennessee School of Beauty or just like the University of Tennessee in general to like everyone that I'm speaking to. So
have you met a ton of people out there? I feel like that ends up happening, like where like paths cross. Have you met people out there that are like, I'm from Knoxville, or I have family in Knoxville, or like, does that happen a lot?
I have, totally. It's actually really wild. So the first time I ever went out there was actually just right after high school, 2011. I was dating a guy at the time. We went to this restaurant called BJ's, and our waiter came up to me and he recognized my accent, which I don't really have an accent.
I was gonna say, it's like gone.
Yeah, I was like, I don't really have one, but like maybe he could hear like a little bit going on there. But he said, where are you from originally? And we were smack in the middle of like Los Angeles, California. And I said, I'm from Gatlinburg, Tennessee. This is literally my first day out here. I got off the plane yesterday. And he said, I graduated from Sevier County High School. I graduated from Sevier County High School. Yeah. So I was just like, wow, little subtle confirmations like all along my journey. Like
what
totally.
Was like the draw for you? Like I loved LA and all that stuff because I like grew up watching Laguna Beach, and I was like obsessed with Kristen Cavallari. Like still to this day, I'm like, oh, and we're both in Tennessee now. Like want to be best friends. But I was always like, I went on my senior trip to LA. Like I went to Laguna Beach, and like I remember just being like, I always felt drawn to it for some reason. What was the connection for you?
Same, honestly. My mom's dad, my grandpa, he was in the Navy. He was stationed like right outside of California. Like he lived in Pasadena for a while, and I remember him always talking about like just going to Pasadena and that like I needed to get out there too, that he just saw me out there. And I hate talking about not feeling like I ever belonged anywhere, but like I was an athlete leading up to being in Tennessee School of Beauty and leading up to the beauty industry. So like I didn't feel like I really belonged anywhere. I didn't feel like I fit in anywhere. Mm-hmm. Then Tennessee School of Beauty for me was a very like fitting experience. It gave me a lot of confidence and allowed me to even facilitate that move to Los Angeles. So yeah, it's it at first was very intimidating. I had very thin skin. I was always like a very sensitive, I'm a Cancer, so July baby. I'm a very sensitive like soul. I'm very empathetic for everyone. I feel like I feel a lot at all times. But that's what's interesting about LA is like, it's such a melting pot. Everyone is chasing their dreams. They're so passionate about everything that they're doing. And I think it just kind of like let me kind of do my thing. It let me be me for like how Tennessee School of Beauty did also. Like it let me be like actually me for the first time in my life.
Yeah.
I think I told you that like I went into Tennessee School of Beauty really, I wanted to be a makeup artist. Like that was my thing. Like I loved makeup. I would sit at home when I was like 16 and 17 in high school still, like, and I had acne, terrible acne, and I wanted to just cover that acne up. And I was like, YouTube, let's learn how to do makeup. And so I would just like badger my mom. I was like, Mom, take me to Sephora. Take me to Sephora. I want to get new makeup. I want to get new makeup. And so I built this, like I had a huge makeup collection and I was like, I want to do makeup. And then I remember one day she took me to, it was right before Christmas time. She took me to the Clinique counter in West Town Mall. And I was having some breakouts. I had like a lot of acne and I went to the Clinique counter and I said, you know,
and
like,
how old are you at this time? Like you're like in high school still?
17, 18. Okay, yeah. Like I'm just about to graduate high school. Totally. And she took me to the Clinique counter and I was talking to the lady at the Clinique counter and she said, like, what do you feel a lot with your skin? And I said, I'm oily. I said, I feel oily all the time. I have a lot of pustular acne. I'm an athlete. So I'm exercising all the time. And she was like, well, do you ever feel tight or dry after you wash your face? And I was like, yeah, sure, sometimes. So she said, well, you're dry. You're a dry skin type. So she sold me a dry kit from Clinique. And I promise you, like everything I've told you guys, like I'm not dry. I'm oily. Yeah. I'm one of the oiliest people I've ever treated. And I'm very acne prone. So that was a very like turning point for me. I took that kit home and I started using it. And that was maybe 2 months before I started school. Yeah. So entering into Tennessee School of Beauty, especially with the instructors that I had, which I was very fortunate to have at that time, like they were so blunt with me and that's what I needed. Yeah. It was like a readjustment and like a little shake up there. Like you don't need to cover this up. We can fix this and we can like move forward. Like you don't have to always be worrying about this. So
yeah, and you came in, like wanting makeup, and that's what you wanted to do. And even at that time, like we didn't even have our makeup program incorporated into the aesthetics program that we do now. Like you were coming in using like Glow Minerals, and like learning like bare minimum at that time of makeup. Like it was mostly skincare. Yes. And I remember like talking about that and being like, well, there are people that gravitate towards makeup at that time, which now, like I said, we have the makeup program included, but because there were so many people that wanted that and were asking for that, but you were prior to that time, but your whole like journey switched when you started at TSB. Like, so what was that like? What do you remember from that time as far as your conversation that you had like with family about being like, I'm leaving Hiawassee and I'm going to beauty school? Like, how do you remember the day that you like sat down and talked about that?
I do. I even remember like, cause I had a knee injury at the time. So I was laid up in my apartment at University of Tennessee, like with my leg up on my pillow in a knee brace. Like I was watching, and it's crazy to say this now, but like I was watching Botched. I was watching Botched and I saw that they had a medical esthetician on the show, and she was doing like a little bit more like invasive treatments, and she was doing more corrective type treatments. And she had someone on there with acne and hyperpigmentation, and I was just like, I never knew this, an esthetician. Like, to be honest with you, initially I was like, anesthesiology? I thought I was going to have to go to school for like 6 years or something to do something like that. It was like a doctor, like a degree that you needed to get. And then I remember like forwarding that episode to my mom, and I was like, watch this. I was like, this is really cool. And at the time, like, I still thought I was going to be in the NBA, you guys. Yeah. Like, I thought I was going to be the next, like, Kobe Bryant. Like, I seriously, like, I wanted to play basketball for my entire life. Yeah. Until Tennessee School of Beauty, I never had a calling for a job. Yeah. I was like, I don't want to, like, there's, maybe marry a rich man. Yeah. I don't know.
Did you wear makeup when you played in high school? Were you like the, because I can't imagine you being like, you're so pretty. Yeah, and I feel like you were the one like done up. Like, were you done up before? Like, did you do your makeup before games?
It's funny that you asked if I did makeup before games because I had one of my best friends that was on my high school basketball team with me too. We would run in at halftime. Like, we would make sure that we were the first people in at halftime. We would run in to the locker room and we would reapply before coach got in there because if he got in there and he saw us reapplying. But I was sweating and I was like, oh no. Like, I know they were sitting far away, but like even the cheerleaders, when I would go to throw in the ball, like I would be right there next to them and it was just like intimidating. Like always. Like I was always just like not trying. I mean, we talked about this earlier. Yeah. Like I was always trying to like strive for perfection. Yeah. Like I was always like, no, they cannot see me like this. They can't. I want to be on at all times. So,
can we we're gonna switch like a little bit, but can I, just because you said like you were striving for perfection always, like I have like done a deep dive on this a little bit because I've always been like, I'm a perfectionist and I whatever. Okay, well that creates so much drive. And even though I think it can go and kind of be like negative sometimes, like I think there are things, but I will say it's negative for us. For whoever is carrying that, it can be really negative.
Sure.
But it also is the thing that I think pushes a lot of successful people outside of comfort zones. Like it almost creates this like, I don't know if it's like this optimism or like what it is, but there's almost this thing like, why can't I do it? Yeah. Because I can do it and I will do it perfectly. Like it just is something different in you. And I think that that's one of the things that has like consistently been with you and has made you so good and has made you actually like achieve all of the things that you've been able to achieve as somebody that graduated from Sevier County High School, you know, like I think a lot of people, and not that there's like anything wrong with like staying in your hometown or anything like that. Like I think that that's a great path for a lot of people. We've talked about like a couple people that we've stayed connected with. And I think that is a thing that all of us have. And as long as you like keep that in check, I think it's okay. Like, I think that you have to like be aware of it and be like, okay, I know that not everything's going to be perfect all the time and whatever. And like, you kind of like just look at things differently. Sure. But I do think it creates like a really special drive too, to be the best at sports. Like there's a competitive drive in there too. And then that continues through when you're not playing sports anymore, you know, when that's what you identify as. I think it creates now your drive and perfection and whatever has now gotten you to what you're doing and where you've been in your career already at such a young age. Because you're 29 right now. Yeah. Yeah. And you've achieved so much. And I want to get into kind of what you're doing in a second. But just for people that are thinking like, is this the right move for me? Is beauty school what I need to do? Like, what advice do you have for them?
If you have that seed planted in your mind, if you have any type of interest, I would say absolutely go for it. Like you said earlier, like my parents were a little bit hesitant as well. I will also say Tennessee School of Beauty is very affordable compared to a lot of the programs that I've seen, and like the education that you get is incredible. Like they leave nothing unturned for sure. My parents didn't want me to do it. They wanted me to stick to that normal like college routine. And I really had to like be adamant on them about like I think this is a good move for sure. They did not, they were not behind me at first. Like you said, I brought my mom in. We were kind of talking back and forth about just like the possibilities, but my dad wanted me, like he said, continue on, do that basketball thing, like go do your business thing, get your business degree, which like, thankfully, I did a little bit like further on down the road, but this was really what built me, and it gave me my confidence to move forward as well. Like I said, I came in wanting to do makeup, and the instructors were really what it like hammered it home for me. Like the information was very clear. So that was like, it was a no-brainer. Like, this is what I want to do. I can learn a lot, and it's a short amount of time. I can turn this into like return on my investment immediately. So it's not just about the money, but like building a sustainable career. Are you happy?
Yeah.
Like, are you happy with what you're doing? And there have been a lot of times in this career with me too that, there's a lot of, back and forth. I don't want to even say bullying, but the industry is very small. Like, here we are again sitting together here.
Yeah.
But, like, the industry is very small. I saw that you interviewed Sam Villa. Yeah. And, like, it's wild. 2 years ago, we went to, like, a show, and I got to hear him speak, and it's just amazing to hear people like that speak. So it's just wild to hear, like, people that you never thought that you would get to connect with.
Yeah.
We're connecting with them. They're giving you encouragement. And, like, I think that's what kind of, like, kept me going. So, like, anybody who has that hesitation, I just want to say, like, I truly never felt at home until Tennessee School of Beauty. And that's not just pumping you guys up. Like, I've been to a lot of schools now, like, being an educator as well. It's just such a well-rounded process. And you guys care about us after we leave. Yeah. And that's what I love to see, because it's not about getting my tuition. Yeah. It's not about you guys turning a profit. Yes, that's part of the business, and it always will be. But here I am.
Yeah. I've been, like, a cheerleader of you, and, like, seeing you go do these big things. I'm, like, liking every story, like, loving everything, because it makes me so happy to see you being able to do what you love and, like, really just thriving in that. And I think it's one of those, like, pay it forward things. Like, I want to give that to you guys and be your support and confidence, like, while you're there. But now you're doing that on such a different level. So I wanted to talk about this letter that you brought, because you said your parents were, like, not on board.
They were not on board.
Like, saved the letter that, like, actually says, like, after you enrolled, like, Adam wrote you a letter saying you're perfect for this and I know you'll be successful. You know, like, just giving you that confidence. And I love that this is, like, saved. Like, I feel like I was so excited.
That's original.
I know.
My parents won't even let me take that home with me. Like, you guys, I live in Los Angeles now. My parents still live here in Tennessee. They do not let me take that letter to my home. They keep that on their refrigerator next to a photo of me. And because they're proud of that. Like, because maybe that's the first time in their life too that I was like, this decision is my decision. Yeah. I'm making this decision for me. I know I will be successful, like, whatever that I go forward. And I really felt that. Like, there was never a doubt in my mind when I was at TSB. I remember even talking to you about, like, wanting to potentially stay here and saying, like, what could I potentially do in Tennessee that would be good for me? And talking to, like, accounts around the area as well, and just being like, where do I need to fall? Yeah. And then knowing that the scope of practice in California and just, like, cosmetology board was so different there. Yeah. I knew I wanted to go towards more education and just, like, administrative work and things like that, and teaching. But then I was brought back out here. I was only in California for about 2 years. And then I came back out here with my daughter and my husband at the time. And it was, he was going to nursing school, and I was working in Turkey Creek at Light RX, face and body. I was doing laser hair removal, and I loved it. I was the clinic director there. I was, that's the thing about this industry too, is, like, how versatile. Like, I told you earlier, I came into this industry to do makeup. Yeah. And as soon as I got into aesthetics class, we'll talk about this at another time in here, but, like, the information that they were giving, I've never wanted to grab on information like that. I was just like, why have I not learned this before? Yeah. Why did I not know, as an athlete, playing soccer, playing outside every single day, why didn't I know I needed to wear sunscreen every day? I have acne, potentially actinic keratosis. So I need to wear sunscreen. Yeah. Like, I need sunblock. Like, these things are very important. Washing your face, cleansing it off every day. Like, I wear makeup every day, like you said. Yeah. I wanted to cover that acne up. And I was not taking, like, it's just, it's a simple process. And it's funny now to me to, like, go back and be like, wow, It was just kind of, like, all over the place. Yeah. I think too, like, when a lot of people, like, we're in classes, like, through high school or whatever, and it's like math and English and whatever, and we don't have the thing that we, like, latch onto. Sure. But once you find that thing, it's like you want to know everything. Like, you deep dive on every piece of information you can get. And I love seeing that in our students. I think that that's something that's so fun too, is like seeing them just, like, jump in and be all in on something. I think a lot of people are like, well, I couldn't make it at traditional college. Like, I hated it. I want to go to class or whatever. But then they end up coming to beauty school and being, like, A++ students because it's something that they're interested in. Like, they actually care about it. And then
I also think the information's like easier to retain when you care about it too. Like, because you're like, oh yeah, I love this, and so I'm gonna learn it and actually like know it. Like, I think it's different too. Because school, I'm sure was like fine for you, but I think when you were in aesthetic school, I think it really like took off too of like the information that you had when you left. We're gonna take a quick break from the podcast to hear a word from our sponsors. Today's sponsor for this episode is LEAD. LEAD is the first degree designed with beauty professionals in mind. To create future professionals and leaders for this fast-growing industry, Rolfs has partnered with L'Oreal, Arizona State University, and Mesa Community College, and is proud to launch the first ever college and university degree designed specifically with beauty professionals. It's time to acknowledge the level of impact beauty professionals have in our lives. Every year, an individual consults with a beauty professional over 48% more than a physician. This is why advancing the accredited education of beauty professionals is our mission. LEAD is shaping the future of beauty by developing the minds and expanding the intellect of beauty professionals who maintain and restore our self-expression and well-being. For more information, visit leadinstitute.degree today. The folks at Access, L'Oreal's online destination for professional education, are ready to kick off the holidays. Because they love cosmetology students so much, they're launching a holiday promotion just for you. It's called Haul for the Holidays, and trust me, it's a haul like no other. And what's even better is that it couldn't be easier to participate. So here's how it works. Starting on November 1st, you will log into L'Oreal Access, complete the Haul for the Holidays learning plan, which has been curated just for students so they can learn about different L'Oreal professional hair care and color brands. And then you'll hop over to L'Oreal's Level Loyalty Reward site and enter to win the Ultimate Stylist Starter Kit. 100 students will win the holiday haul containing prizes like a mannequin head, a carbon comb, tint brushes, mixing bowls, super cute capes and aprons, towels, a ton of full-size L'Oreal products, and so much more. Then 10 lucky winners will get all of that plus enough level points to redeem for a nice set of shears or a Dyson hairdryer. Typically, you have to earn points on level by buying L'Oreal products, but with Haul for the Holidays promotion, you have the chance to get them for free. How insane is that? Students will have just until before the end of November to complete it. So make sure you're signed up for both L'Oreal Access and L'Oreal Level Loyalty Rewards program. More info is on its way, but go ahead and get excited. This is about to be a happy holiday indeed. Now let's get back to the episode. So tell us, I know that you had just kind of mentioned that you came back to Tennessee for a little bit. What has your career path been since you went back to California?
Sure. So I've always retained my own kind of like private practice just to make sure like anyone who's reaching out to me via like my website or via my Instagram, like I can give them the help that they need. So I've always done, everyone always says sales through education, but I've always been very like education oriented and like, this is why this is happening. Like, I jump on a 30-minute call with me. Like, let's do a little consultation. Like, I want to learn about your life because that's where, like, it starts. That's how I learned through, like, my own experience, too. Like, are they active? Are they not active? Are they stressed? Are they sleeping? Like, what's going on in their life at that time? Because, you know, you never know really what's going on. So that's how also, like, is huge with skincare because our skin is a mirror of our inside, like how we're feeling.
So you've done your own thing.
I have,
like
yes.
for a while, for sure. But then you ended up like with a bunch of different products, different brands. Like you worked with a little bit of everything, which I love. I think it's so good to kind of like learn every side of the industry. Like you said, this industry is really small.
Yeah.
But I think that connections are made easily. So tell us kind of what you've done because you've done a little bit of everything in aesthetics.
That's I think that was one of the biggest things for me too was like I didn't, like you said, I wanted to start off on that makeup path, but post that and when I started getting actual treatments in school, my acne started to subside a little bit. And then it was like I didn't need to cover that acne up as much. And it's like, wow, we can do very corrective controlled treatments here. So like I said, I knew I was moving to California. I knew I was going to go out to LA. So immediately when I went to LA, I started working with European Wax Center. I started doing some trainings for European Wax Center.
Yeah.
And I loved that. I loved just like the training aspect and just making sure that like we knew that skin health and skin integrity needed to be like number one. Like no matter what, these protocols need to be upheld. And this is the reason that we're doing these things. From European Wax Center, I kind of just transitioned to be like a little bit more on that clinical side. So after Tennessee School of Beauty, I actually worked for a company called Cosmedix, Mesoaesthetic. They specialize in hyperpigmentation, and they have a lot of amazing like doctors that work with their peels and products specifically to like inhibit that hyperpigmentation and higher Fitzpatrick skin types. Because going out west, you have, I'm dealing with a lot of richer Fitzpatricks 4, 5, and 6. So it was just amazing.
So, and are you following like any of what she's saying with these words that she's using?
Yeah, sorry.
Like, doesn't she sound so smart?
I'm sorry.
She's like the smartest ever.
No.
I'm keeping up pretty
Fairly well
for my prior knowledge of the space.
I feel like I'm really trying to say less.
No, say it. Like, I love it. I just know as a boy, you've got to be like, holy crap. Like, are you at any point right now, like, this is insane what the beauty industry is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so much.
It is an incredible amount, but that's the thing too is like
people don't understand, like even just like sitting here listening, like people being like, oh, I go to aesthetic school or beauty school, like they
don't
think
get it.
that like there is so much that you're even like, oh, on the West Coast it's this skin type and that, like it's
totally
crazy.
No, it is. And this is a wild thing too that like this was one of the most significant things that I learned, and this will be kind of like probably off and like wild too, but like Fitzpatrick skin typing based on how close they are to like even the equator, because our UVB and our burning ray is so concentrated around that equator area. That's how we get our Fitzpatrick skin types. Equator, you're going to have your burning ray. So UVB is going to be very concentrated. You're going to have a richer Fitzpatrick. So 5 and 6 are totally going to be around that equator area. Then as you move up from the equator, you have the UVB gets less. UVA gets so much stronger, so your aging ray. So as you move up towards like through North America, up into Canada, even Alaska area, like your UVA, your aging ray is so strong. So like it's amazing too to see like that's how we get our skin types.
Yeah.
Like
that's crazy.
Dark, like it just richer to that fairer skin type. Like it's because of like where we're living on the map.
Yeah.
Like humidity, dryness, all of this is affecting not only our skin, but like our immune system function
that's
and our cells
people,
and everything.
Yeah. That's why people, when you're living like in whatever part of the world, and I know like, and I think being in this industry, I'm like, okay, I know that women will go pay to get their hair done like before anything. But what is so important is how we're like doing all these things to be like, oh, we don't want wrinkles, we don't age, and we're Botox and all that stuff. But like, we're not doing the basic things that we need to be doing. Like, this needs to be a class in high school.
It does. We all can be even before that.
Yes.
Like, we see our little babies sitting out here. Like, I have a 7-year-old daughter. I know you have a 7 or 8-year-old son.
Yeah.
Like, I
just
like
saw how pale he was, by the way. Like,
yeah, and my daughter's the same. She's very fair.
Like blonde hair, blue eyes.
She's very fair. My daughter's the same. She's blonde. She has
Are you taking notes also? Dalton's back there with.
She has those like
green eyes.
When you have those fairer features, like certain like exposure to sun, like it's not for you.
Yeah,
like you have no matter who you are, even if you are a richer Fitzpatrick, you need a little bit extra coverage. Just because you have melanocyte function extra in the area, richer 5 and 6 Fitzpatricks, you still need help. Like you need help because it's going to be irregular, and that stimulates that other like immunity process in your body. Yeah. So totally, like it's wild to think that the skin health correlates so directly with not only like external things in beauty, but like this correlates directly with your gut health. It correlates directly with your dental, like what's going on, everything, every aspect with your health. It starts with your largest organ, which is your skin.
I love that.
Totally.
I love how educated you are. It makes me so happy. Sorry, we were talking about where you were working, kind of what you've done. But like even moving out to the West Coast, like you had to kind of not alter a little bit, but just like there was a lot more to learn and even just moving. So what did you kind of jump into? Because it seems like you haven't done the traditional, I mean, I know you did for a little bit, but you haven't done like what most people think of aesthetics, which is like just typical spa route. You've definitely been a lot into the side of it. So So, which I know is like your thing and like your passion. So you did that for a little bit. You've done teaching for a little bit.
Totally. So after, when I moved to California, I did a little bit of like just consultation work after Cosmedix, after kind of doing clinical trials with them. Just because when I started to see like correlations in skin types and how they were being addressed, I wanted to see how other brands were doing it too. Because it seemed like all these brands had the same info, and it truly, these professional brands are all attacking things so differently. They all have such a different philosophy of skincare, and it's really about making sure like your philosophy matches with what you're carrying's philosophy. And it's there's so many different like offerings there. So after that, I went more to like the dermatology route. I was working with Hydrofacial, training for Hydrofacial as well. Like such a great device, just really, really good ingredients and products. And from Hydrofacial, like one day I was able to get connected to Dr. Paul Nassif. And he is such an amazing doctor in Beverly Hills. I'm sure you guys have all seen him on Botched. But just being able to connect to him, help him kind of develop that Hydrofacial booster as well. He has this hydroglucan with Hydrofacial, just to kind of see how he works, see how that office space works, and just that fast-paced environment. It was wild. He didn't have an esthetician at the time, so he actually immediately brought me on. He hired me, and I was his esthetician for, almost 2 years. And it was amazing to be able to do his like pre and post-op care, and just even like seeing the filming of Botched. Like how wild. Like that's where, and I know I told you earlier, like that's where it all started. I was sitting in my dorm room at University of Tennessee, like watching Botched. Like I called my mom and I was like, watch this episode. This is what I want to do. So you would never think that like that came full circle. I went to my interview. I had to sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, to be able to interview with the company. So being from here, I was just like, why are you making me sign a non-disclosure agreement to interview me? But it was really just because like they, that proprietary information and like what they have going on there, it is like, it's serious stuff. So I ended up coming on staff with him, and I was his esthetician for almost 2 years, and just kind of working and seeing that pre and post-op care. Like it was truly amazing, and getting to work with like so many amazing physicians. Like I truly learned so much, not only about like pre and post-op care, but about acne, pigmentation. I got to see a lot of different people coming from different areas of the country and like world, and just seeing a lot of different skin and how it's reacting to the type of UV that it's experiencing. So
I know that underlying you've had a passion for helping people.
Yes.
And I know that really grew there. I know that really like was something that you've always gravitated towards that. And I think that that's so important to point out too, is like your drive behind all of this like has to be like the love for people, educating people, helping people. And so I know that that's your like number one priority in all of this. So as you're choosing where to work and all of that stuff, I think that that's an important message for people, is to really identify like your why, why you're in this industry, why you're doing what you're doing, and how can you make the career from that. So how do you kind of put that into play?
Yeah, I'll say too, identifying your strengths is so important. Your strengths, and also what you like you don't need to ignore that. You're gravitated and you're pulled towards certain things for a reason, like 100%. That energy is like taking you in a certain direction totally for a reason. Like I said, I thought I had everything mapped out wanting to do makeup, and I got in school and it was just like, no, you can correct this, you can fix this, and there's another path for you. So I think it's just like, don't ignore what your mind is telling you, what your heart is telling you. Like that's the most important thing. Like you're not wrong. You know yourself better than anyone else. Yeah. They can give you a lot of information, but you need to take that time for yourself and see sustainably as a career, what can I build and what can I do? Because if I can't be around people every single day in the treatment room, you might want to go towards something else. Like if you're not good one-on-one with people, you may just, like even education is a good route, because you're around a lot of different people at a lot of different times. So I think just not ignoring what your gut and your heart is telling you, like it's pulling you there for a reason.
I think it can be so scary, especially when you're somebody that's like mapped everything out and you're like, well, what if I do this? What if I follow this door that's opened up, but like it's going to be scary and I'm going to have to make a lot of changes. Like what if it doesn't work out? But I think what I found as I've gotten older and like where I'm learning to trust myself so much more is like that opportunity is there for a reason. And like, you've got to just chase. I know so many people have been along with me, like on this journey, and kind of where we're going, but we keep saying it all the time. I mean, Dalton and me and Rob and Mark will have these conversations where we're like, well, it's crazy. It was like A led to B, led to C, led to D. Like, it's crazy the way that those things happen. And like, you know that feeling when you're like, okay, it's either time for me to leave, whatever situation you're in, whatever your job you're in, or whatever. Like, it's scary leaving because I don't know. I guess I thought we'd always just be like, there's this one job, like you graduate college and then you like have your job and you have your job until you're like, until you retire, right?
I thought I would be with the European Wax Center until I died.
Yeah. And like you like have those thoughts in your head that like, this is literally forever. But then, but then a door opens and you need to go do that. And like, sometimes like opportunities come and you're like, oh, I feel weird about it. That doesn't feel right. Like, don't do that thing then, you know? Totally. But like, there's a difference between something feeling off or like being like, that's a bad vibe or like this is just scary, because I think growth is so scary, and those feelings of being like, what are we doing? What's happening? Like, that's all just growth and change, because just staying the same and being like, oh, this is like, that's not meant for us. Like, I don't think that like the just one path is meant for, I don't know where we're going to land. I know you're kind of there too. Like, I was like, well, do you think you'll ever come back? Like, you don't know, but like, if something brings you back here, like right now you're getting to see so much of the United States, at least, and like maybe the world at some point. But I think like you'll find your place and you'll find kind of where you're meant to be. But at least now you're getting to scope it out. So tell us kind of what, or tell the audience at least what you're doing now, the product that you're working with, and like your position in the company.
Of course. So right now I am the Regional Director of Education, West Coast and Midwest for Cosmedix Skincare. So we're a professional skincare brand. We also, the company Astral Brands also owns Butter London. We also own Alouette, which is a kind of just chain also like skincare company. They also kind of support Pure Cosmetics as well. So they're a makeup line. They're an Ulta. I'm sure you guys are familiar with them as well. So I got connected to Astral and to Cosmedix just because like I really wanted to do that like very concentrated education. I want to work with B2B. Like, I want to work with consumers too, but I love connecting with estheticians who have that same mission and that brand value in mind. So hearing that they already love the products and like the reasons behind that why, like you're talking about earlier, like they just, it's an amazing brand. I get to travel, I get to see on-site accounts, and I get to help them, and I get to build their clinic, and I get to help their like just return on investment as well, and build and kind of partner with my account executives that do sales. So I'm not good at sales. I feel like I approach sales as a consumer. So it's just always that like educational value. Like, this is why you need this. This is what you've brought to me as your concern. We can literally incorporate 1 to 2 things and you can have like a whole different outlook on this. Like, totally. So that's what I do now. I a lot of time that I spend is remotely, just kind of doing webinars and just kind of readjusting educational like protocols and stuff like that for spas. But also like every other week I'm traveling to a different region, just making sure that they're good and they have that knowledge that they need on all of our products with cosmetics and just skin health in general, and just support them in any way that they can. So.
Have you seen the industry, like now that you're going in to meet with estheticians, like on the regular, like at tons of different places in the country, like I feel like things have changed so much in the industry since the time that you came into it to now. Like, are you seeing people being like way more prepared than maybe you felt after? Because aesthetics has just blown up. I feel like there's just so much more information. Like, what are you seeing like when you go into these places? Like, are you like, wow, these people really need like help with this product that we're carrying, or they really need like more information? Like, what's your observation when you go in?
Everyone has an amazing vision. Okay. Everyone has their own individual style, and I think that's the most important thing for you to keep. Yeah. Guests will return to you because they gravitate towards you and your individuality. I love that. You don't need to abandon what you feel. Even me being from here and going out to LA, they love me because I'm so blunt with them. I'm honest with them, and I will ruffle their feathers. I don't care to ruffle their feathers a little bit. Yeah. Like, I want to disrupt what they're hearing because there's so much static and just energy going on in that area right now. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook.
Wait, how do you feel about this? Like, how do you feel
different stuff going on?
I mean, do you feel like there's more misinformation?
There's a lot of misinformation.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, there's a lot of information with half answers.
Yeah,
You need that whole rounded out, like...
That's a good way to say it.
Okay, like, why, though? Like, I hear dermatologists on TikTok, they do the very trendy thing of, like, well, you don't need a toner. And it's a very old school thing to think that a toner is adjusting your pH of your skin post-cleansing, because it's not now. Now we can use a toner to address hyperpigmentation. We have vehicleized and used this technology to, like, really facilitate these ingredients to dive so deep and make, like, very, very good correction, whether it be, like I said, hyperpigmentation, acne, dryness, alopecia skin. Companies are really doing their research. They are really making technology super advanced with these amazing ingredients. So I don't think that you don't have to be intimidated, but there are so many options. Like, there's so much for you to choose from. Like, you don't have to just kind of, like, settle with one thing.
Yeah. I think it's a good gateway into seeing. I think that, like, TikTok and Instagram and all that stuff has been really good for people to see what is actually happening. Like, if we're living in Knoxville. So if, there's people that haven't been into, like, a high-end spa or into get services, right? I think it is a good, like, peek into the industry. But you're right. I think, like, there's so much more. It's, like, great to give, like, a glimpse.
Sure.
But there's just so much more that goes into it. And I think you have to, like, again, it's kind of like when you started, I think we would probably say a lot, like, well, YouTube isn't school. Like, so don't just trust YouTube. I think now we're just at the point where we're like, don't trust everything you see on TikTok. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a trend that was going viral that was like, don't do this to your skin.
Even dermaplaning. I see so many.
That is like a big one, right?
I see so many people. I like the first one. I see so many people do it, like, getting the little tools to, like, shave the vellus hair off their face.
Yeah.
And even things like that. It's like you have to know how to follow it up. Like, you need to follow it up with, like, a metabolic or chemical exfoliant to digest what you kind of even pushed back into those follicles.
Yeah.
You could create a little bit more congestion there, even though you feel like you're removing and creating a really smooth canvas. So it's all about, like, order of operations.
That's a really good way to put it.
It goes back to school.
Yeah.
Like, it goes back to your basics. And no matter how long you've been in this industry, I work with people who they've been in the industry for a lot longer than I have. They worked with the line that I am teaching them for a lot longer than I've worked with this line. But it's all about just, like, reminding them, like, skin works the same way no matter where you are. It's about healing, and it's about, like, taking it back to that, like, homeostasis of the cell in general, So it's like you have to make the cell as healthy as possible because your body's meant to heal itself. Your body can heal itself. It's the extrinsic, like, environmental factors here and the way that we live our life that is what, like, mirrors what's going on our outside of our bodies. So it's really just about creating that healthy balance and, like, bringing things into our life that really just, like, support, like, what we truly want. If you're fighting against yourself all the time, you're going to be, you're going to be stressed and your body's going to show it.
So how do you recommend people find estheticians? Like, what is the way to find professionals? Like, what questions should just, like, the everyday person ask when they go see somebody? Like, if it is, if you're just kind of getting introduced to this, like I said, I think all of us, like, start getting our hair done at, like, a younger age or whatever before we will go into, I think, like, we hit this point. If you're getting services done and you're, like, 16, like, you're so lucky. And I'm, like, so jealous of you. But, like, our kids.
Literally, my 7-year-old daughter has an entire skincare routine because she has rosacea. And I'm like,
stop. I love that she's on a routine already. That is the best thing. I really want to see videos of her, like, nightly skincare routine and be, like, taking tips from her. But how do you suggest that people, find this that are just now getting into this or just hearing, that there are ways to fix this? Like, how do you find someone?
I think finding a licensed professional and finding someone who's very established and who also, like, speaks to the same things you're speaking to. The things that you think in your mind and the things that you, like, vocalize as your concerns, they're not only your concerns. So many people and so, just so many humans in general have had these issues as well. So many people have suffered from acne.
Yeah.
So many people have hyperpigmentation. Everyone is aging.
You do kind of think that it's just you. I think for a while until you're at a certain age, you do kind of think that you're, like, alone in this. So, like, it's just you going through this or you don't want to, like, talk about it because you're, like, self-conscious of it. But, that's a great point is, like, everyone's gone through this. And, like, you've got to find somebody that can help.
Everybody's going through the same thing in a different phase and at a different speed. I totally think that. And that's why too, it's about like being as gentle with people as possible.
Right. Like your esthetician's going to be nice to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's a lot of times too, like people just go to their esthetician to get a little massage. And I'm not going to lie. Like that's one of my least favorite things is like, I want you to have good results from this. But if somebody comes to me and they're compromised and they're telling me, I don't get a lot of physical touch, you need to massage their face.
Yeah.
You need to give them that time and you need to talk to them and you need to be there for them because like I said, you never know what someone else is going through. It's like we're all living the same life on a different channel. Like truly, we're all doing the same things, just like at a different speed here.
Yeah.
So you have to approach it very gently and you never know what somebody's going through. So it's not only about like those ingredients that you're giving them, but also like that healing touch that you're giving them. That was one of the biggest things I learned in that oncology class that I took was that like, I had never heard this before. This is something I feel like I should have learned in like grade school, but like each of us need like 4 hugs, like healing touch a day, like heart to heart hugs. Like if you're a healthy person, you need 4 hugs a day to maintain health.
I'm like an extremely like affectionate person, and that seems like a lot. Like I don't feel like most people are getting that at all or anywhere near that.
Yeah. So think about like a compromise. Like in the oncology class, they brought in different people who were kind of they were going through like cancer and radiation treatments at the time, or they had already gone through these treatments. When they're going through that, or when they have that compromised system, they need 12 heart-to-heart hugs at like 5 seconds to provide that even like healing touch that they need. And healing touch, we know it's only bringing circulation like to the area. Yeah. So we literally just need like, humans need touch. We need human interaction. We need communication with other people. And I think a lot of times like we get scared. We're very intimidated. That was me when I was younger before I like met so many amazing people that supported me. Like until I felt that, I never had that even like need to reach out to someone else. And like now, like that's like not only now you've given me,
rely on it.
Yeah,
like,
I do.
It's like, for sure.
I love it. Even like with women before, like not only Tennessee School of Beauty, but before like the beauty industry in general, I think women have a tendency to feel very not only just like quietened, but like this is what you're meant to do. And we have to find our purpose like very early in life, even when we're still developing. So when you're still getting to know yourself, like we have society pushing us and telling us like these are the things you have to be doing.
Yeah.
And that's, it's not necessarily true. Like you can do anything you want. You can do anything you want. And I think that's so huge to be able to say that like there are so many things out there in life. Like even right now, I feel like I have, not being overly confident, but I feel like I've achieved everything that I've wanted to here. So that's where you asked me earlier, like, what's next for me? I want to build things for other estheticians and I want to build things for other people to be able to do and feel the same things I have felt. But then like, I don't know what's next for me. I'm excited to see.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like it's all been planned out very well, but after this, like this is as far as I've seen. Like in my youth, right now sitting with you, like truly, this is as far as I have seen. So, like just continuing to set those goals for yourself, like you're gonna achieve them.
Yeah.
You're going to. Like it's meant for you in your life. Nothing that's meant for you is gonna miss you.
Yeah. I agree.
Ever. I don't think anything that's meant for like any of us is going to miss us.
Yeah.
And I think if it is not meant for you, it will glide by you slowly. It will it'll stick a dagger in your heart and it'll hurt you that you missed it. But there's a reason that you missed that opportunity because something bigger is meant for you and your value here is greater. Yeah. Like you're going to bring something huge. I still feel like
you found it younger. Like I do feel like you weren't like super old finding this, but I do think that there's a moment of really understanding that and being like, it doesn't have to be right now that I do this thing that I'm like dying to. You just have to make the steps towards it. And I think like you said, like those goals are going to come true for you. If they're meant for you, like it will happen. And I think that that's such an important message. And like had we heard that like younger, you know, like, but it's
I don't know if I would have even listened to it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. No, that's definitely true. Well, I've loved this moment. Like I said, I'm so excited that we got to do this because I think, you know, seeing what you've done and like what you've accomplished. I mean, I was telling Dalton and them like, I don't know if it's a year ago or 2 years ago. My time is like so off because of COVID.
It's like a year ago.
But when we were going to come out to LA and being like, okay, I'm so excited. I'm going to get to hang out with you and I'm going to get to see you like in that element. I almost think it's like more special that you've come back and been able to like kind of do it here in Knoxville. And I know that you said like you were in Cincinnati. This trip wasn't even supposed to like happen. Like you were like, I'm randomly going to come home for a little bit. So I think that it's awesome. I think that you have so much left to give to the industry. I can't wait to see what you do with it. And I'm just so proud of you. And I'm so just so proud to see like the woman that you've become to see like what you've done in your career. I think it's so special. And I'm just so thankful that we had this time.
Thank you. Yes, me too. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being here. Okay, so we can follow you at, what is your new Instagram handle?
So my personal Instagram is Your Epidermis is Showing. It's Epidermis is Showing. And then my like business Instagram will be SD__Amanda.
Okay.
So you can follow me either one. You'll see a lot of my daughter's ventures and going to school and a lot of my like silly quirky things on.
Really make us want to move to California. That's what I'll say. It's like every story I'm like, okay, so we're moving to LA. This is gonna be great. Can't wait. Definitely motivate us for that. So thank you so much for being here. We will definitely we'll make sure we tag Amanda, put the links in the bio.
Also, if any of you are looking for an amazing new line to bring into your professional clinic, treatment room, or retail space, I am, like I said, I'm regional education manager for Cosmedix Skincare. We're based in headquarters in Atlanta, Georgia. There are other amazing account executives that I can get you guys like situated with. They'll place your orders, but it's an amazing professional line and it addresses like so many different concerns. So if you're looking to replace your line right now, Cosmedix is an amazing option.
And do you know the Instagram for that? Like where they can follow that?
Cosmedix.
Okay.
At Cosmedix. COSMEDIX.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for watching. If you are watching on YouTube, make sure that you ring that bell to make sure that you're notified when new episodes come out. Make sure that you follow, subscribe, like, do all the things for us. And we are brought to you by L'Oreal Access and Lead. So thank you all so much for sponsoring this episode. Stay tuned for even more great content on Beauty School Bobbi. Bye, guys.